Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Dhirayat Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttama Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Omagnanathmirandasya Gnananjanashalakaya Gurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Deham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansta Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Jaitam Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vichakamitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Saptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhana Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Mancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevata Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanani Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Evo Shesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Chatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Krishna. Okay. Okay, Canto 1, Chapter 3, verse 29. Sayam pratarghanan bhaktya khagrama vimuchyate. Whoever carefully recites the mysterious appearances of the Lord with devotion in the morning and in the evening gets relief from all miseries of life. Okay. Pretty straightforward. Whoever recites, they'll get relief from all miseries. So whoever wants to get relief from all miseries of life, you can chant mysterious appearances of the Lord. Now, is this true? What does this mean? So simply, if you just carefully recite, will you get relief from all miseries of life? Any thoughts? Yes, no, all right. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
Yeah, because Janma Karmacha Me Divyam. So, I mean, it's very auspicious if we will recite.
Okay, so because you quoted that verse, so I will have to explain what that verse means. That's a very exalted verse. That and this verse are not necessarily saying the same thing. Janma karma cha me divyam is stating that one who understands the transcendental nature of my janma and karma, in truth, that's about not coming back to this material world. This is just saying miseries of life we will get rid of. Now that, like I've said before also, Krishna consciousness, all when we are talking about spiritual subject matters, always there is gnana and vijnana. So there is knowledge and there's application of knowledge. So, or realization. So the Janma Karma Me Divyam is a realized stage, not simply by knowing. Not simply by knowing, and we know, but then we live a life of nonsense, then that's not going to help, right? So knowing and also applying. And when one applies that, what is the application? No, I'm the servant of Krishna. Then, okay, sadhana bhakti, tivra bhakti. Then we will realize that. Not just simply by knowing. Because knowing and then not following will not help. Okay. Now this verse is just saying that just by remembering or reciting these mysterious appearances of the Lord, all the different incarnations, one becomes free from all miseries of life. We should understand, in the Shastra there are many statements made like this, which might seem exaggeration for us. So my question is it exaggeration? Will it work for everybody? How do we understand this?
Prabhuji, it works for the purest devotees, Prabhuji.
Purest devotees.
And who are sincere in their sadhana to some extent. Because it will work for 100%, Prabhuji, but to get the full result, we have to be, we have to give our 100%, Prabhuji.
So it will work if we are fully surrendered, dedicated, following the process. Is correct. Now,
Yes.
one big thing with all these things, all these kind of benedictions, this is called Phalashruti. In whole of Bhagavatam, there are a lot of Phalashrutis. You will be hearing, I mean, as we go through Bhagavatam, every Leela, you will have Phalashrutis, which is like benediction, which is like, blessings that we can get. So first is faith. First thing in when we read these statements is faith. Oh, and then next is happiness, like saying, oh, I found a way. Right? So there is a way. Now there's a way to achieve that goal. Now, will it work for me? Yes, if I put 100%, like Mataji said. If I put my 100%. Will it work for everybody? May not be. May not be. But Shastra never lies. Shastra talks about statements which are true, but conditionally true. Right? It might not happen to everybody. Where there might be various reasons for that, etc. Second, then another aspect is, how do we know if it has happened in our life? And that's another big question. Huh? So, which is why some of these things are purely based on faith. We can see other devotees who have done that and who are now free from miseries. But the problem is that material world, free from miseries, either we'll be suffering from karma phala, or Krishna for some reason is putting us through some, kind of apparent difficulty. Apparent because externally it looks like karma phala. For us to, overcome some anartha that we might have. So it's very difficult to say, we look at devotees are also suffering, then we think, what is this? Okay. This great Vaishnava, he was suffering from back pain. Bhagavatam is saying, no one who reads this get over all miseries. So then we should not think, oh, maybe he's not read this. So then there are different reasons why we might see miseries in the lives of pure devotees. But we should have faith that it will work. It will work. And of course, it depends on the mercy of Krishna, because none of these there are no rules as such. It is just mercy of the Lord. And if we sincerely have faith in him and put in 100%, generally it will work. That we should know. If you don't put 100%, then it won't work. How much time it will take for it to work, that also depends on our condition, on our anartha. So there are various things, but it will work. So Prabhupada in the purport is saying that the birth and activities, they are mysterious, and only by those who carefully try to go deep into the matter by spiritual devotion is the mystery discovered. See, what does this mean? Carefully try to go deep into the matter. So we are not looking at just hearing these Leela, okay, Krishna came, okay, Vamana Avatara, Varaha Avatara, okay, he killed this demon, he did this. Not just that, not simply just knowing. Prabhupada is saying, only those who carefully try to go deep into the matter by what? Not by mental speculation, by spiritual devotion is a mystery discovered. Now, what does this mean? What does spiritual devotion means? Spiritual
Performing
devotion.
bhakti.
Yeah, performing bhakti. But just by performing bhakti, we are not able to go deep into the matter, right? So this actually spiritual devotion means first is to understand that okay, I have no qualification to understand any of this, right? I'm unqualified. Then by hearing from other previous acharyas what they have realized, because that is their realizations, not somebody didn't tell them that this is how it is, right? Or this is the reason. For example, if we see Srila Prabhupada's purports or Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's purports, now they're all unique. Who told them? It's not that they, of course, Prabhupada has, he's attempted to, his intention was to completely represent the parampara. So he's done that. He's taken from previous acharyas and he's, taken important aspects, used them in the purports, because simply Vaishnava always feels that I don't want to take the credit. I don't want to restate the same thing that a previous acharya said. So they will generally take what previous acharyas have said, and then also they will have their own mood. For example, Prabhupada's mood is so unique compared to previous acharyas. So much on preaching, so much on book distribution, so much on, so which comes out through his purports. That is his unique bhava. But then there are also many things that they would have, presented from previous acharyas. So spiritual devotion means that we not try to speculate, not try to independently realize this matter. We actually go through surrender to Guru, hear from previous acharyas. Then we will discover the mystery, right? Because they will reveal the mystery. And then, of course, when we reach a pure stage, there might be other realizations. As we become purer, there might be other realizations as well, which may or may not be directly mentioned. That's a very exalted state. But the whole point is that as we go deeper and deeper into bhakti, we go deep into the mysteries of the Lord's appearance. What does this mystery mean? Mystery means, for example, did Krishna leave Vrindavan? Krishna went to Mathura, but then Krishna also says he never leaves Vrindavan. So this is a mystery, right? So how would we, or Krishna's birth itself, is Krishna born, who is the mother, father and mother of Krishna? Devaki, or is it Nanda? These are all mysteries. So only by spiritual devotion we can go into is this mystery discovered? Thus one gets liberation from bondage. So Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam means all this. Then one gets free liberation from material bondage. And then Prabhupada is also saying it is advised, therefore, that one who simply recites this chapter of Bhagavatam in sincerity and devotion can have insight into the birth and activities of the Lord. See, this is also a very amazing statement. What Prabhupada is saying is the qualification that is required to realize this statement in our life, to realize this benediction that we will get rid of all miseries, is sincerity and devotion. Then we can get insight into the birth and activities of the Lord. Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam. Evam eva vetti tattvata. So here Prabhupada is also saying the very word vimukti or liberation indicates that the Lord's birth and activities are all transcendental. Otherwise, simply by reciting them, how could one attain liberation? So the sincerity and devotion means what? So when we are hearing, see, that is why Prabhupada repeatedly said Krishna is a person, Krishna. When we hear something about, for example, Krishna's creation, how Krishna creates, what comes to our mind when we are reading? For example, second canto will go, third canto, so much of description about Purusha avatars. When we are reading that, what comes to our mind? What is the thought that comes to our mind?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Krishna is inconceivable, Prabhuji, to
Krishna is inconceivable.
To our material senses.
Krishna is inconceivable. Yeah, to material senses, spiritual senses also, to the extent that he reveals only we will know. So yeah, Krishna is inconceivable. Now, what is the aspect of devotion here? Prabhupada is saying sincerity and devotion. Now, what is devotion? What is the devotional aspect? That is a jnana aspect. What Mataji said was about the knowledge. Okay, now Krishna is. What is the devotional aspect?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Awe and reverence and respect.
One second. Oh, so many people answering at the same time. Okay, Amit Prabhu. Normally, Amit Prabhu doesn't wish to say very much. Yeah, Suma Mataji can answer. Next, Amit Prabhu. You're saying something?
No, Prabhu.
No, okay. Nakul Prabhu, who tried now? Somebody tried.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Just I joined the class.
Oh, you just joined.
Yeah, devotion means to understand the truth. Is it in that sense?
Which one?
You were asking about the devotion. Devotional.
No, not that sense. Okay, Suma Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Awe and reverence and supreme to know about the strength of his supremacy, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so on reverence, no Lord supremacy. Okay, any other thoughts? Okay, let me give you a hint. Yeah, yes. Yeah.
How great Krishna is and how small we are. We realize that.
Okay, how great Krishna is, how small we are. Okay, all of these actually, whatever we are saying is all jnana aspects. Now, yes, jnana is absolutely integral part of bhakti. It's not that it's not. But also please understand, Bhagavatam is also rasamalayam. Right? Bhagavatam is also full of rasa. So what is the rasa? Okay, let me give you a hint. What was the feeling Arjuna experienced when he saw the Vishwarupa of Krishna?
He was perplexed, Prabhuji. Initially, he was perplexed. And then he was bewilderment, all kind of feelings arose in him.
Okay. Anything else?
He surrendered.
Okay, surrendered. Okay.
Fear. Seeing that avatar, he was full of fear and anxiety. He said, go back to your original form.
Okay, so all of you have to read the purports deeply. Suma Mataji, she is like very patiently lifting her hand. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, first I wanted to say that fear, but no, seeing all that, we sometimes develop love also and bhakti also, Prabhuji.
Oh.
That attachment also.
Oh.
Because we know that it is for our benefit. He is manifesting
okay, as in you're saying, okay, he is so powerful, so I'll surrender to him like that.
We can depend on him, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so we can depend on him. So Now is that devotion, not devotion? Okay.
Prabhuji, strong affection with conviction, Prabhuji.
Oh, affection with conviction. Now, where did affection come? That's what conviction I'm able to understand. All of you are saying, okay, because he's so powerful, etc., we can depend on him. Is all that okay? Conviction, faith to surrender on to him. Where is affection? I'm not able to understand. You maybe it's you know it in you, but can you put it in words? That's what I'm looking for. That is a rasa here.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I think Arjuna understand like Krishna is the supreme person after seeing the Vishwarupa. So it's not an ordinary person can show the Vishwarupa. So he understands that Krishna is the ultimate goal, is the absolute truth.
Yeah, so which is fine. Which is all this thing that we are saying, no, that he's inconceivable, he's super powerful. We can depend on him. He'll protect us. We'll surrender to him. All this. Okay, so okay. In the interest of time, I'm moving on, right? So if you should read that chapter purports nicely. 11th chapter. Multiple times initially I had read, I just like I was not interested in reading that chapter at all. But I don't want to read Rupa of Krishna. I'm not. Beautiful statement Prabhupada writes in that. That's why we have to read Prabhupada's books, right? Then only we'll understand the rasa. So Prabhupada says Arjuna was so happy. Arjuna was so happy that his friend is such a super person. Oh, my friend is like this. That is the rasa. It's not about, oh, Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Okay. So Sakya Bhava, in Sakya Bhava, there is no Krishna is Supreme Lord. Okay, okay, fine. But if you want to go to Goloka, then it's, okay, maybe but he's my friend. So Arjuna here is not in that Goloka Vrindavana mood. And so he's saying, yes, oh, Krishna is so great. He's my friend. This is the mood, the love. So we have to go into the devotional aspect. One is the knowledge aspect. Somewhere when we are reading these things, there should be some trigger of some feelings. These are not unfounded. These cannot be just speculative feelings. That's why I'm basing my our discussion on what Prabhupada has written in the purport. We shouldn't just simply for the sake of feeling something, feel something. Not like that. It has to be genuine. If it was not genuine with us, then how was it with other devotees, pure devotees? Like, for example, Arjuna, right? Or then Prabhupada says, what Prabhupada says, Jayastu Pandu Putranam Yesham Pakshe Janardana. Oh, wherever Krishna is there, that side will be victorious. That is Prabhupada's devotional mode. Right? If you hear Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he will say something else. So this is the mode of devotion. Sincerity is, okay, I need to develop this relationship. I need to develop a relationship with Krishna. Okay, and initially it's okay, Dasya. Okay, Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He's so powerful. So I can surrender to him. Krishna is saying, okay, have faith. Have faith in me. I will take care of it. Oh, okay, fine. When we read this, we develop complete faith in Krishna. Right? But then we have to try and move forward. That is why repeated reading of Bhagavatam, repeated mananam, thinking. For example, now I can ask Varaha Avatar. You might have read about Varaha Avatar multiple times. What was the kind of, what is the mood of Varaha Swami, Varahadev? There's one beautiful statement Prabhupada writes in, actually not Prabhupada, right? This is the verses itself. It talks about the mood of Varahadev. We have to capture these statements. We have to capture these moods. Then the mood of devotion. So, this word might be a tough one because you should have read like very, very deeply. So there, Shukadeva Goswami is saying, Hiranyaksha, when he came in front of Lord Varaha, actually he abuses, he like really literally, uses such, he's just scolding the Lord. Like you're just amphibious beast. taken body of a low boar and this and that and all that, and he's just going on and on. Actually, then Shukadeva Goswami makes some statement. Lord Varaha was very unhappy. He felt very bad by what Hiranyaksha was saying. He felt bad. He could have just said, okay, Varaha, okay. He's taken a form of, boar. What is this? No, but the Lord is always, irrespective of what form he takes, he's always transcendental. And his mood is, this guy, this person is speaking, something he's speaking about me, and his words are actually hurting me. And I read that, I was like, oh my God, I mean, Lord is so much full of, he has feelings, he's connecting with his devotees, all jivas is connecting. And when jivas reject him, how bad he's feeling. I was thinking, oh my God, I mean, this is unimaginable. This is devotion, right? When you look at, okay, Lord is ready to reciprocate. So when we read these, it's not just knowledge. See, of course, I'm not saying that first time when we read these, we only stop at knowledge, because we've not heard these pastimes so well in the past, etc. Or we just go through and we are just trying to absorb the pastime knowledge aspect of pastime. But then subsequently, as we go reading, we have to go deeper and deeper into the matter. And then this is about spiritual devotion. So when we go and when we are reading each and everything now, each and every line with attention, that is sincerity. Automatically it is revealed. That is why Prabhupada here is saying that he's not saying that, one has to be some brilliant guy or some, great philosopher or scholar. No, he's saying just one simply recites this chapter in sincerity and devotion. So how do we recite a chapter with sincerity and devotion? When we are reciting it, we go into the mood. We try to hear every statement that is being told by Acharyas, by Shukadeva Goswami. Then we will go into the mode of devotion, because they are devotees. If they are not devotees, how can they enter the mode of devotion? If they don't enter mode of devotion, how will we experience mode of devotion? So don't, first time, yes, okay, I agree. First time we just read tick mark. Remember before my initiation, there was a prerequisite saying that I should have finished first and second canto up to some chapters, etc. I just read so that I just tick mark. Oh, I finished. But that is not really reading. That is Vaidhi Bhakti, rules and regulations. Okay, somebody is saying I have to finish. Okay. But subsequently, when we read, we don't read to finish. We read to relish. We read to go deeper into the subject. And again, that will happen as and how we develop more detachment to material things, spend more time for Krishna, go deeper and deeper into the practice of devotional service. That is why Bhagavatam initially only says, by serving pure devotees, this eagerness to hear will come. And then when we develop that eagerness to hear, then we will be like yearning, when can I again read? When can I again read these pastimes? When can I again, experience the mood of, the rasa that is being exchanged in this particular leela? That is mood of devotion. Okay, so it's not just simply, okay, I'm going to just, recite these verses, I'll take a printout and then, okay, by heart it, then just say, no. That will help, because by doing that again and again, then you will keep thinking. Sometimes you will think, oh, what is this? Nothing. I mean, I'm not feeling anything about this. Same thing, I'm just repeating like a machine. Am I a machine or am I a human? And then Krishna will give us, just even if you don't think about it, just by this repeated sincere seva, Krishna will give mercy, and then we will enter into the mode of devotion. And so all spiritual activities are like this. If we sincerely do, irrespective of whether we have qualification or not, we will come to that platform. That is the beauty, because Lord will give mercy, causeless mercy. Okay. Any questions? Any thoughts? Anybody? Okay. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, actually, when you said this, we will have such thoughts about Lord. We never feel that He's very far from us, Prabhuji. But at sometimes the senior Matajis or Prabhujis say that we should never treat God like that. We must always serve Him in the Dasya Bhava. So that really makes us happy. So we
I don't
never.
know who says things like this. We should not jump. See, we should understand this. We should not jump. As in, we are not even doing seva to Krishna. Then we talk about, simply lip service. We talk about some rasa, bhava and all that. That is nonsense. Right? But before somebody makes a statement like that, they should understand the mood of the devotee and then say. See, this will prevent us from actually going beyond dasya. If somebody says that, you can't think about these things like this at all. No, but if it is naturally coming to us, without anybody telling, if it is naturally we are experiencing, feeling these, that is devotion. And what is this devotion? This devotion is already in our heart. It is just getting, it's just getting alive, becoming alive. Now, I can't just suppress my feelings towards Krishna. It shouldn't be artificial. Yes, that I agree. Right? But I would never say anybody saying that, oh, if you're feeling like this, no, it's not good. Just think in mood of Rasa. No, we have to think in terms of Madhurya. But nothing artificial. None of these things should be done artificially. But we don't suppress it also. We don't suppress it. We should not suppress it. But of course, whoever is mentoring us, that devotee himself or herself should be at a stage to and appreciate this and recognize that somebody is making progress if they are coming and talking about these things. But at the same time, when somebody says things like this, or I myself think in these terms, I will first think, okay, am I even serving Krishna properly, or is it just like mental speculation or lip service, or just I want to show off that I have one. Then I go deeper into my own mood of devotion and then analyze, saying that, okay, what all aspects of my bhakti I'm insincere? How can I fix it? Right? Those aspects are there. But never tell anybody saying that don't think like that. That's not correct at all.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
If that is correct, then why Prabhupada is writing so many things? Why we are talking about Madhurya Bhava? When will it come? Will it just be like one lightning one day? That we'll suddenly wake up one night we slept, next day morning we are like feeling Madhurya Bhava. No, it doesn't work that way.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
What about those who are illiterate or who cannot read any Shastra or scriptures? But how about they doing spiritual devotion, Prabhuji? In what terms?
No, I mean, see, that is why Shravanam is important. Whether you can read or not doesn't matter. It's good to read Shravanam. Now, if somebody cannot even do Shravanam, now Shravanam Kirtanam, that is why Prabhupada said Shravanam Kirtanam is must. So, sincerely, if the devotee is wanting sincerely, is trying to serve Krishna sincerely, Krishna will arrange for his Shravanam. No way he will not arrange Shravanam for him, right? Now, the other thing, even if suppose say he's not getting that opportunity, chanting Hare Krishna is there. When somebody is chanting Hare Krishna, by just chanting process, things will be revealed by the Lord from within the heart. So he will develop the spiritual devotion. He might not be able to express, to somebody, but he will develop devotion within. Right? How does that manifest? In more love, he's doing service to Krishna. See, that is why Krishna says, Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. Prabhupada in one of the purports in 5th canto is saying, what is this Dadami buddhi yogam tam? It says one who is engaged in spontaneous loving service, he will make sure that he will come to him. He will guide him. He will, whatever is required for him, whatever is lacking, he will give.
Because my mother is trying to hear Bhagavatam, despite of hearing several times, she says that she is not able to understand it.
No, but then that depends on who is, see, one is we have IQ levels, right? Each of us, that IQ level is coming from our material conditioning. How much intelligence we have made. But actually, if realized souls speak, then it is not very difficult to understand. But maybe because most of us are not realized souls, so subject matter will not penetrate their heart. But if they hear from a pure devotee, there is no way they will not experience the emotion. Bhakti.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So many things, Etadrupam bhagavato Shri Arupasya Chidatmanaha Maya Gunair Virachitam Mahadadivir Atmani. Also, one more thing I want to just say on the previous verse. That is why we don't normally talk too much about devotion and feelings and this and that and all. Because people will then go on Sahajiya Bhav. Sahajiya Bhav means, oh, I have developed this love for Krishna, I will do whatever I want. I will not follow rules and regulations. We'll go into some different mood. So it's not talked about, right? But normally, if there's a close group, I talk about these things. Close control group, I know, okay, whose devotees are, what are their mood, how they are. Then in a controlled environment, these things can be discussed because that is what we are supposed to do. We are supposed to discuss these topics amongst devotees. But not in 100 people are sitting in a class, we'll not go into all this because people will understand however they. Here there's an opportunity to at least clarify our thoughts if we are not clear, etc. Right? So generally these topics are not spoken about in general, but this is important. Develop that mood of devotion for Krishna, feelings, not just knowledge. But those feelings should not be sahajiya, should be authentic, should be natural, should not be because I'm copying or because I'm showing off to somebody. These things have to be. Okay.
Bro, I have a question.
Ah.
So should we verify that when we read Prabhupada purports or Acharya's commentaries and we get to understand their ecstasies, right? I mean, it is actually the exchange of words with Lord, but coming via their statements.
Yes.
Sometimes our interpretation of that statement might also be wrong.
Right.
So should we verify that, okay, this is what I got as a feeling, and let's confirm it with senior devotees that is it the right thinking or not?
That's correct. We should do. We should do. Actually, which is why Prabhupada said, my books are my devotional ecstasies. I'll remember, right? Prabhupada said that my purports are my devotional ecstasy. It means that actually he's writing his heart out there. Right now, how do we understand the heart of Prabhupada? Only when we are sincere and, we are very dedicatedly trying to understand, the Acharya's parampara will give us mercy to understand that. Right? And then we'll also, there are two things. Yes, one is, obviously, if we have senior devotees whom we can go consult, we should, which I do multiple times. I mean, I keep doing it all the time, especially when there are newer topics I come across and I get stuck. And whatever I have read so far is not helping me to understand that because what we have got is foundation. Right now, if it is not building on top of the foundation, that means I'm missing something. Right? It won't suddenly fall from the sky. The building will always grow, will be built ground up. Right? So ground up is the foundation. So whatever some topic that I'm hearing should be based on the foundation. But if it suddenly feels like, no, it's not based on whatever I've read, it looks like it's something new, that means maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong in the way I'm understanding. Then it's time for us to do. For example, I mean, I'm just giving you one example, right? Like when we hear pastimes of gopis with Krishna, 99% or you can say 100% of the time we will misunderstand. Right? Because it doesn't look like dasya bhava. Doesn't look like mode of service. Then we have to talk. We have to ask so many times these topics I have discussed. How do you understand? What is this Rasa Leela? And then they will mercifully tell us, direct us to some purport, some specific explanations which will make things maybe more clearer, etc. We have to do that. If we don't do that, then we are just speculating. I mean, especially with these kind of exalted topics.
Yes,
which is why foundation has to be very strong. For foundation to be very strong, we should have first read Prabhupada's books multiple times and try to understand it as it is. This itself is a big ask, right? How do we understand as it is? Right? Because every statement Prabhupada is making is forming the part of the foundation. Then there are certain statements which are actually based on level 1 knowledge that is already given. Now, if our level 1 knowledge is not strong, then we will not be able to understand that level 2 knowledge. So first level 1 knowledge has to become strong. Then knowledge based on the level 1 knowledge we will build on top of it. Then we'll get a level 2 knowledge. Then we go into higher and higher topics. All these will be gradually level, stage by step. We'll build up our understanding, not just jump 5th level directly. So that means our level 1 foundation should be super strong. Then how we interpret things should not be based on our mental speculation, but based on level 1 topics. Based on level 1 knowledge, we can extrapolate or try to understand, interpret a level 2 piece of information. Is this abstract? Is this making sense?
Yes, bro, it's making sense. Yeah.
Others, is everybody with me? I mean, on this, what I'm trying to say is difficult, but this is what I've realized, right? There are some KG1 statements in Bhakti. Then once the KG1 we are clear, then we can go to whatever, KG2 or first standard, whatever. But first standard statements require understanding of the more fundamental statements of knowledge. Once we are clear with that, then we can understand the next level. And once that is clear, then we can understand the next level. Like this, so it has to be built ground up. Even with all that, there are some of these topics which we will absolutely not have access with all the knowledge that we have, because it's just too exalted. Then we have to consult. Sometimes senior devotees might say it's too early for you. Just wait for some more time. Do more chanting, do more seva. Get revealed over a period. That's all the problem. Translation. The conception of the Virat universal form of the Lord as appearing in the material world is imaginary. It is to enable the less intelligent and neophytes to adjust to the idea of the Lord's having form. But factually, the Lord has no material form. So this universal form, what is it? It is imaginary. It is imagined by sages, for the less intelligent, to just give them an idea that Lord is having form, but not like our form. His form is huge. That is why it is Virat, right? And he is not just part of one jiva, he is part of all jivas. It's universal. Everything is within him, right? To give that understanding of what is the position and power of Krishna, sages describe this Virat universal form. But it's temporary, it is material in the sense, because it is manifest in this material world when the world manifests, and then it disappears when the world destroyed. It's not like his eternal transcendental forms. Then also we should understand there's nothing about the Lord which is material. So that way, so there are some higher topic discussions where it is said that okay, actually Virat form exists, but not the way it has been understood and described by sages. So anyway, that's that. So for our understanding, let's just understand saying that okay, this is it's a conception, right? It's imaginary. It's just given by sages so that less intelligent people who can't adjust to the idea of Lord's having form, they will accept it. That, oh, okay, yeah, because they are enamored by world around us, the beauty of nature, the power in material nature. Then we say, okay, when all of this is manifested in this universal form of the Lord, oh, okay, I thought the Lord is formless. Oh no, he has a Virat form. So then they might accept. That is why this Vishwarupa, Virat Rupa is described. Yeah, in the Virat Rupa, material manifested in different planets have been conceived as his hands, legs, etc. Actually, such descriptions are for neophytes. Neophytes cannot conceive of anything beyond matter. The material conception of the Lord is not counted in the list of his factual. Yatha nabhasi me gaubho renurva parthivo nile evam drashtari drashyatvam aropitam abuddhibihi. Clouds and dust are carried by the air, but less intelligent persons say that the sky is cloudy and the air is dirty. Similarly, they also implant material bodily conceptions on the spirit self. Yeah, so because we are seeing, it seems like a material form. So then you say, okay, spirit self has a material form. So, I mean, it's just a very philosophical way of saying that, don't go by just what you see. what is behind the underlying concept might be much deeper. So just, we see Virat form, we don't think that Lord is material. We look to the outward covering of the body or subtle mind of the living being, but we cannot see the spiritual spark within the body. So we have to accept the living being's presence by the presence of his gross body, right? Similarly, those who want to see the Lord with their present material eyes are advised to meditate on the gigantic external form called Virat Rupa. For example, when a particular gentleman goes in his car, which can be seen very easily, we identify the car with the man. And within the car. So when president goes, we say there is the president, but actually it's not the president, it's the car. President is present inside the car. For the time being, we identify the car with the president. Similarly, less intelligent men who want to see God immediately without necessary qualification are shown first the gigantic material cosmos as the form of the Lord, although the Lord is within and without. So just like, the president went in the car, we say, oh, here is the president, but we are actually only seeing the car. So like that, they don't have the qualification to see the actual form of the Lord. We say, see this gigantic form, this is the Lord. They say, okay, fine. Then slowly such people can come to higher platforms of. Atha param yadavyaktam avyudah guna brahmitam adrishta shruta vastutvat sajivo yat punarbhavaha. Beyond this gross conception of form is another subtle conception of form, which is without formal shape and is unseen, unheard, and manifest. The living being has his form beyond this subtlety. Otherwise, he could not have repeated births. Okay, so this verse is interpreted in different ways by different acharyas. So Prabhupada is, one way we can say that previous verse was also talking about Jiva's gross form, and then the Jiva has a subtle form. But also then other acharyas are also saying that the gigantic, the Virat form, Virat Rupa itself has a gross form and a subtle form. So anyway, so these are all very technical. Now we should just understand saying that this the Virat form is imaginary, is real, and is just for neophytes who are not ready to accept the form of Krishna. First we'll say, okay, see, this Virat Rupa is the Lord. We can latch on to that and slowly move up the ladder. Yatre me sadasat rupe pratishitte swasamvida avidyayatmani krite iti tad brahma darshanam. Whenever a person experiences by self-realization that both the gross and subtle bodies have nothing to do with the pure self, at that time he sees himself as well as the Lord. So in continuation with this previous verses, we can say that it's talking about the self, not the Parabrahman or not the Virat Rupa. For some reason, there is suddenly discussion about how that is the gross form, then the subtle form, and then there is actually the Lord. Like that, in that way, there is a gross body, there's a subtle body, but they have nothing to do with pure self. And a person experiences by self-realization that actually he's not any of the gross or subtle body. At that time, he sees himself as well as the Lord. He sees himself because he's the Jiva, he's the soul. Then he sees as well the Lord because the Lord is sitting beside him. Now, this seeing might mean literally seeing, or might also mean that he's understanding his position and also the position of the Lord. And whatever now happens in his life, he's able to understand, okay, I'm the Jiva, I'm the Atma, then this is Paramatma, this is the role of Paramatma, this is what I am, etc. But for that, one has to come to the stage of self-realization, knowing that I am not this body, neither the gross or subtle body. Now, what is the characteristic of a person who's come to this stage? Sthita Prajna, right? Chapter 2, Bhagavad Gita. So when somebody lives a life like that, then he can see himself in all situations. What does it mean? Meaning he will never associate any of his situations with his gross or subtle body. He will always try to relate it with him as Atma, and things that are superfluous to him being Atma, like somebody insults him, somebody says something, distress, body is affected, etc., etc., he doesn't get affected by that. Then because he can see himself, okay, say, I'm not this gross body, I'm not this subtle body, I'm this self, right? And then at that point of time, he's also able to realize Paramatma. Let's see what happens. The difference between self-realization and material illusion is to know that the temporary or illusory impositions of material energy in the shape of gross and subtle bodies are superficial coverings of the self. Okay, the coverings take place due to ignorance. So this we'll discuss when we discuss creation, how the coverings take place because of our ignorance. Such coverings are never effective in the person of the personality of Godhead. Knowing this convincingly is called liberation, or seeing the absolute. So Prabhupada is saying, what does this seeing the Lord means? Seeing the Lord means being convinced that I am the Atma, that I have these coverings because of my ignorance. But the Supreme Lord doesn't have any such coverings because there's no question of ignorance. Knowing this convincingly means that there is no doubt at no time we will think in terms of gross or subtle body. This is liberation. This means that perfect self-realization is made possible by adoption of godly or spiritual life. Because just knowing that I am Atma but not doing anything about it, not practicing the process of self-realization, will not help us to come to that stage. Prabhupada is saying one has to live a spiritual life. Then only he can, not a material life, spiritual life, godly or spiritual life. Godly means it will also come slightly higher to Paramatma or Bhagavan realization. But spiritual life means even just Brahman, just accepting Brahma Bhuta state, that I am not this gross or subtle body. That also will give realization. Then he can become liberated. Self-realization means becoming indifferent. See, if somebody wants to know what self-realization is, means becoming indifferent to the needs of the gross and subtle bodies and becoming serious about the activities of the self. A person engaged in the activities of the self is called Jivan Mukta, even in conditional existence. So this is self-realization. Self-realization doesn't mean that suddenly there's some lightning that strikes. No, basically we live in the conception that I'm not this body. I'm spirit soul, so I'm serious about the activities of the soul. I'm not doing it as like part-time. I'm doing it full-time. Many times devotees ask, okay, what about material life and spiritual life? There's no material and spiritual life. There's only one life. Depends on whether you want to take it towards material, consciousness or spiritual consciousness. A person engaged in the activities of the self is called Jivan Mukta. When the living entity desires to be the enjoyer of material energy, Lord covers the living being in the mystery of forgetfulness. This again, we will understand this when we read the creation. Brahma creates full paraphernalia for illusion. Andatamisra, Moha, like this, there are like 5 things Brahma creates. Tamas, I can't recollect. So there are 5 things that Brahma creates to just create this illusion for us, create that forgetfulness. So when that covers the living entity, we are so small that we cannot overcome it. So then we start misinterpreting the gross body and subtle mind to be ourself. Only when we come to the platform of Jnana, when we come to the platform of Bhakti, by the power of Jnana, by the power of Bhakti, we will be able to get overcome very strong covering of illusion. Still, some things become more, easily understandable. Some things take long time for us to get over some aspects of our ignorance. But it is all by the process of self-realization that one can come to this platform saying that I am not the gross or subtle. I'm absolutely, wholly and solely self, Atma in all times. By culture of knowledge, when Jiva prays to the Lord for deliverance from the clutches of forgetfulness, the Lord, by his causeless mercy, removes the curtain and thus one realizes himself. So what should we do if you have not done this? We have to do this prayer. Jiva prays to the Lord. So we can all pray now. That we've got this knowledge, we've heard of this multiple times, Krishna, but we are stuck. We are still stuck. So please deliver us from the clutches of this. We have to pray. We have to pray every day, not just now. When we chant, what's the meaning of chanting? Chanting means Krishna, or energy of Krishna, please give me your service. When, as part of that prayer, is this prayer also, that if I have to accept your service, then I have to overcome this ignorance that I'm in. It is built into that prayer. Eventually, that is why we ask for service, because if we start thinking, breaking it down, the process becomes very complicated. So when we ask for service, we get so many things. We get the, first is the understanding that I'm not the body, I'm spirit, soul. Second is the mood of devotion, for which we don't have to go and do different processes. All the qualities that are there in demigods, sura, all that become manifest in the devotee. Right, all obstacles, anarthas will get removed. So all of it, like multiple, like it's like a complex process, multiple stage process. Everything keeps happening one after the other. But we have to be in this prayerful mode, because we should know that Krishna is helpless, stuck in this material world. I'm not able to overcome all these strong bondage that I'm in. So now kindly give your mercy, and that is the daily prayer of. So that we ask for service, it means that all these things are kind of okay. So it's 3:57. We'll stop here. We have any questions? Any questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, does matter only limited to gross and subtle?
Yeah. Matter has two aspects, gross and subtle.
Okay.
Okay.
We say we have read now, Prabhuji, 24 elements are there in material energies of the Lord. 24. Among them, eight, if we remove 8, gross and subtle, then the living living entity is equal to matter. Spirit, soul plus matter. That is gross and subtle. So that 8.
No.
Okay.
That's not what it is. So the 24 elements, 25 elements, 26 elements, depending on what Sankhya we are reading. Sankhya means analysis, and breaking down the universe into its building blocks. So basically, it is Pancha Mahabhuta, that is gross. Then Tanmatra, which is sound, touch, etc. That is also in a sense gross. Then 5 knowledge acquiring senses gross. 5 action senses gross. Knowledge acquiring senses gross in the form of organs. Then there is mind. Then there is contaminated consciousness, intelligence, and then false ego. So the last 4 are only subtle. Everything else is gross. And then there's Jiva, Atma. Atma is not gross, not subtle. Atma is spiritual. So these things we will read when we read about creation, second.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. We close then. Okay.
Right.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.